Day 6 as a yacht chef on an 8-day charter in the Bahamas. Per usual, I start the day with a beautiful sunrise, and then I got started on baking some coffee cake muffins. I've made these muffins for multiple events and they never fail me. The recipe is from Broma Bakery. While my muffins were cooling, I then marinated some chicken that I'll be grilling up for lunch. With breakfast, I'm serving a soft scrambled egg, and then I also pan-fried some sausage patties. A fruit platter is always in the breakfast rotation, no ifs, ands, or buts. I always try to do a nice variety of melons, berries, and fruits with skins. I had some leftover focaccia from last night's dinner, and the guests were loving the avocado toast a couple days ago, so I made some mini avocado toast. And then I also put together some acai bowls that I topped off with granola, fresh berries, honey, and cinnamon. I'm making sandwiches and wraps for the guests to take out while they are out on the water all day. I had to just take a second to really admire this view and take it all in because I only have a couple more days left here. It's so sad. I'm making a chicken Caesar salad wrap. I feel like that's such a perfect post-snorkel handheld lunch to have. And then I also made a turkey salami sandwich. I cut these in half because I feel like it's nice to have the option to have both sandwiches if you want. And then I labeled them so the guests knew what they were eating and then wrapped them up in these cute sandwich bags. I made some sourdough loaf, and then I prepped my creme brulee for dessert tonight. We did have some time to kill before we started our dinner service, so obviously we took out the jet skis for a quick ride. And then I cleaned up and got started on prepping all my different doughs. I don't think I've ever baked so much in one trip before. I started with making some sourdough discard dinner rolls, and then I prepped the dough for some pretzel bites that I'll be greeting the guests with when they come back from their snorkeling adventure. I'm doing 2 versions of pretzel bites, one with flaky sea salt and then another with cinnamon sugar. I'm also making a pimento beer cheese dip to go with the pretzel bites. Once the guests were 5 minutes out, I plated the pretzel bites and Leah got the welcome drinks ready. I then went straight into prepping for dinner, which this is my last dinner that I'm doing on the boat. The guests are eating off board tomorrow night, so I wanted to go all out with this final dinner. I baked my sourdough dinner rolls, and then I got started on the first course of dinner, which are these delicious handheld spicy tuna rolls. Might be one of my favorite things I made this trip. For the main course, I am doing filet mignon, so I let the steak sit out at room temperature, and then I seared and baked it and paired it with a butternut squash, steamed green beans, and au poivre sauce. And for the kids menu, we added french fries. So unfortunately, my creme brulee did not set in the fridge. So I came up with a very impromptu Shirley Temple float with dark chocolate cherry ice cream, which the guests said was better than creme brulee anyways. Folded and shaped my sourdough and called it.
I'm a private chef in New York City, and here's what I make for dinner on my night off. Also, I'm taking on new clients if you're looking for a chef. I made a caramelized sleek and parm focaccia, and the base of it was a basil oil that I used in a tomato basil soup earlier in the week. I ended up topping half of it in rosemary and pumpkin seeds and finished the whole thing with flaky salt. For the main, I made an Aleppo pepper blackened roast chicken. The whole thing was covered in this blackened seasoning butter, and then it was seared until it was nice and dark. Once the chicken was seared, I put it over some root vegetables with some leftover wine and stock. I love cooking a chicken this way because the chicken can finish roasting, but then the vegetables essentially braise in the wine and all of those chicken juices. While the chicken was in the oven, I plated up the focaccia. It was super crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside. I love the color of this chicken. You know it's flavorful when it's super dark and crispy. I strained the rest of the liquids the chicken and vegetables cooked in. It simmered down into a really rich and flavorful sauce that makes the perfect dipping sauce for the chicken and the focaccia. I finished it with some parsley and lemon to brighten the sauce with some fresh flavors. The tender vegetables mixed with super moist chicken and the rich sauce topped with flaky salt. It's just like the perfect flavor combination. This is my perfect fall dinner.
before?
No.
Yeah, that was your first time.
That was my first time.
There are people coming. Sometimes we play in there. August. No. Who? I said fuck.
You never had a steak sandwich before? No. You like it?
One of the worst things about being a private chef is that when my client is craving something specific, I have to make it even if it's literally the last thing I want to do. And that's exactly what happened with these crispy tuna rice bites. She has been begging me to make these for months and I kept saying no or putting it off because I was just lazy. But I decided to finally just get it over with today. I started off by cutting up some sushi grade tuna and then I mixed that with some mayo and sriracha. And then I made my sushi rice and I literally spilled it all over the floor when I was mixing it. So I immediately have to clean it up because my client hates when I get the kitchen dirty. And then I froze it in the freezer for like an hour or just until it was completely hardened. And then I cut it up and then fried it with some oil and I literally burned my fingers because I got oil everywhere. I don't have one of those tools that lets you just set the stuff in the oil. No, I have to use my fingers, so it's literally terrifying every time. And today was the day that I burned myself, but it's fine. And my client did not want to give me a band-aid or anything because she said that it's not her fault. They actually turned out so good. Look how cute they are. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to use chopsticks. It looks actually amazing. Yeah, first bite. Wow. That's delicious. Yeah.